One of the most unique masterpieces of medieval architecture of Samarkand is the majestic Guri-Emir complex. Guri-Emir, interpreted as a tomb of the Emir, the grave of the overlord, is a tomb of the Timurids, the burial place of Amir Timur, his two sons Shakruk and Miran Shah, his grandsons Muhammad Sultan, and the great astronomer Ulugh, as well as Timur's spiritual mentor from Medina, Mir Said Baraka. Initially, the complex consisted of a khanaqah, minarets, and madrasas. The madrasa was intended for teaching children of the Samarkand nobility. Opposite the madrasa, there was a khanaqah with a central hall and cells, hujras, where stayed merchants and travelers who came to Samarkand. The complex was erected by order of Muhammad Sultan and was supposed to become the center of Islamic education. But the sudden death of Muhammad in 1403 led to a change in the purpose of the complex. After the death of his beloved grandson Muhammad Sultan, Amir Timur was in deep sadness. He ordered to temporarily place the remains of his grandson in the corner hall of the madrasa, Darskana, and immediately begin construction of the mausoleum, which would close the ensemble from the south. In 1405, during a campaign to China, Amir Timur himself died of pneumonia in Otrar. The great commander was also buried in Guri-Emir, although a grandiose mausoleum was prepared in his motherland Chakresabs. After the death of Timur, the mausoleum turned into the tomb of the Timurids. Today, in the Guri-Emir mausoleum, there are tombstones that mark the burial places. The burials themselves are located below, in the basement of the mausoleum. The graves are located exactly like the gravestones in the hall above. Ulugh brought 2 pieces of jade from Mongolistan to Samarkand for Timur's tombstone as a trophy. The stone was the throne of the descendant of Genghis Khan, Kabek Khan. The famous warning inscription is carved on the tombstone. "Anyone who breaks my peace in this life or in the next, he will be subjected to suffering and perish." The chief architect of the mausoleum was a native of the Iranian city of Isfahan, Mahmud Isfahani. The appearance of the mausoleum is unusual for monumental Central Asian structures of the 14th, 15th centuries. An octahedral lava volume, completed with a cylindrical drum, smoothly turning into a unique egg-shaped outer dome. Its height is 15 meters. The dome is divided into 64 sides, decorated with blue tiles. Initially, the entrance to the mausoleum was through a door located in the center of the southern niche of the courtyard. After the remains of Mir Said Baraka, Timur's spiritual mentor, were transported to Samarkand and buried in the mausoleum by order of Ulugh, a gallery was added to the eastern wall of the mausoleum, through which visitors still go to the mausoleum. The height of the interior is 23 meters and the length of the quad is 10 meters. Niches with a height of 9 meters reach almost to the very top of the walls, as if dividing them into 2 corners, massive, but strongly elongated abutments which are visually transferred to the entire quadrangle. The interior decoration during the time of Timur was distinguished by great pomp, saturation with patterns and color, and the creation of a continuous decorative coating. The same principle is typical for the Guri Emir Mausoleum. The decor of the Guri Emir Mausoleum uses all the means available in the artist's arsenal: stone and wood carvings, stalactites, and stained glass windows. But the main position is occupied by blue-gold paintings. They cover all planes from the bottom of the walls to the top of the dome. The murals were done with glue paints on dry Ganj soil and with papier-mâché reliefs. The craftsmen used mineral dyes: blue, natural ultramarine, green, copper green such as malachite or chrysocolla, red ochre with an admixture or cinnabar, yellow ochre, black burnt bone, white ganj. The walls are decorated with huge panels with a large star-shaped girik. There are 4 of them, one in each corner of the mausoleum, at the top of all the walls to a height of 1.2 meters. A Kufic inscription is made in the figures of the girik. The name Muhammad is repeated twice. The weaving of the girik was filled with a picturesque ornament: blue spirals or twigs with leaves on the white ground. The same as on the marble inscription, the alternation of drawings is unsystematic. They randomly replace each other. The lancet niches of the quadrangle end with decorative stalactite half domes. The vertical planes of the stalactites are decorated with small golden rhombuses forming hexagons with a gold spot in the center and blue spirals, triangular gold flowers on a blue background. The tomb of the Timurids served as a prototype for the famous architectural monuments of the Mughal era: the Humayun Mausoleum in Delhi and the Taj Mahal Mausoleum in Agra, built by the descendants of Timur, who in due course were the ruling dynasty of North India. A lot of mysterious legends are associated with Timur's grave. One of them tells that in 1714, the Iranian conqueror Nadir Shah captured Samarkand, removed the famous jade tombstone and installed it as a pedestal for his throne. However, this decision didn't bring him any joy. The other way around fell on the unlucky Shah as if from a cornucopia. The elders advised Nadir Shah to return the captured stone. The ruler listened to the advice and ordered to take the stone back to Samarkand, but on the way it fell and broke into 2 equal halves. Another legendary story took place in June 1941, when the tombs were opened in Guri Emir. The government of Uzbekistan has initiated a series of examinations to establish the involvement of those resting in the crypt in the Timurid dynasty. As a result, it was possible to establish that the embalmed remains of Tamerlane and Muhammad Sultan rested in arched wooden tombs. The bodies of the rest of the family were buried in sarcophagi. Anthropologist restorer Gerasimov made portraits of rulers based on their skulls using modern technologies. It was possible to establish that Amir Timur's height was about 170 centimeters. For that time, he was considered just a giant. He also limped greatly. The crypt is the most valuable find that is of great value for scientific research. The tomb of Amir Timur was opened by scientists on 19th of June, 1941. Exactly 3 days later, the beginning of the Great Patriotic War was announced. Some people tend to associate this event with the curse of Tamerlane. According to legend, the ashes of the conqueror guarded the spirit of war, which was imprisoned in the tomb. Archaeologists freed him. Their rash actions entailed dire consequences. The Guri Emir Mausoleum continues to amaze with its majestic appearance and is one of the symbols of the city of Samarkand. To the present days, residents and guests of Samarkand visiting mausoleum read prayers there because indeed this is a very holy place.